All right, the next thing to do, or that I did, was glue the whole thing down onto a baseboard. So I went to Walmart and I found these little boards. This is just little backing foam board stuff that they have. It's pretty cheap. The only real challenge you're going to have with this is finding one that's not scratched all to hell or bent or warped. And it wasn't easy. But so 4 of these actually fills out the bottom of the entire board perfectly. So 2 of these per side, it works great. I just used 77 spray, coated the whole thing, put down a ton of weights, and let it sit. Part of the reason I did this is to give it some extra dinging, because that way it can smash down on top of things and have a little bit more protection. The other thing too is I had this idea. Pipe dream. A dream. A stupid dream. I would like to have made the board capable of folding up. It's made all out of foam board, and by doing that, I don't have a hinge system that would work. A knife hinge is the best way to do it. However, a knife hinge, even I think at the most forgiving of tolerances, is just going to rip that foam apart. So for right now, it's just going to stay in 2 pieces. And I might end up just making like a caddy system that I can slot everything in, and that way I can store it someplace. The other reason why this foam board is put on the back of it is so that I'd have enough depth for these. These are 1/2-inch wood screws. Went to Menards, bought a parcel of them, and that's what I ended up doing. Because this and a piece of foam almost lines up. But when you put in a 6mm magnet, now you're sticking out the bottom. And I know my fingers are all in the way, so it doesn't really matter. There we go. So even recessed like that, with the magnet being flush to the top, I'm poking out the bottom, so it gives a little bit more extra padding on the bottom. So foam board, screw, there, it just pokes right into that foam board just a touch, and that also keeps the foam board held on outside of the 77 spray. So that's what I did. That's what this video is gonna be. Screwing. All right. Time to drill. That would have been a lot cooler if I had it in the right orientation. There we go. Now it's time to drill. So I put a wash on this. I've put on a matte clear coat, and I have attached it to some backer boards. I got another set in case I feel like I need to go deeper. These should be, they shouldn't be penetrating the black, but maybe just a touch. So I guess we'll find out.
All right, so I started off using a drill on this, and it wasn't working because this is very soft material, and the weight of the drill was just pushing the screws down. So I stopped doing that fairly quick. And I've gone through, this is the last section that I have, and basically just doing it old-fashioned style. So I got the ruler out here because I did get a little off on some of these. That just makes it even, you know, funner, or personal or whatever. But each one of these is 1.5 inches. So if you're putting 2 screws in for stability, because if you have 1 screw, then your door is just going to spin around in circles, or your wall will. And maybe you want that. But if you have 2 screws with the magnets on it, it's going to be a little bit more stable. A little bit more. I mean, it's not like we're doing structural engineering here. So I got the ruler here just to make sure that my numbers are close-ish. Because I did get a little off in this section and on this side. So as you can maybe tell over here. But basically all I'm doing is, actually we'll do it down here where you can see better because that's too close to the camera. So like right here, our 1.5 inch mark is, let's see, 6, so 1.5 inches is going to be right there in the center. That can't be right. Well, 6 inches, okay, yeah, right here. So that's going to be my spot. I can kind of screw, it doesn't really matter, but if you do a little push it in, it's going to be vertical. These screws are fantastic. They're wonderful to use. Exactly what we need. But nothing's perfect, and with even that point isn't going to be dead center. And if it is, and you start to screw on it, it's going to set it off kilter. Plus the weight, whichever way you're going, left hand, right hand, whatever, you're not going to get these things to go down flat because this is just a very spongy material and it's not really sinking that well. But so I kind of just give them a little bit of a push to get them straight. You don't even really need to do the screwing action, but it's a little bit easier on it. And then just kind of, you know, get it into a spot where you can countersink, and you can take your .3mm magnet and it will go right in, and then just check it and make sure that it's a little bit lower than the surface, and you're done. And then I'll take the styrene, I'll put it on top of that. I'm going to have screws in the bottom of my walls, and boom. So as you can see, there's a lot of play from there to there and side to side. So there's a lot of room for it to be, so your walls aren't going to lock in perfect, but having 2 spots like this is going to give it a little bit more security. And center mass than again, that was a little cockeyed, but it's low. But I could set that on there. I thought I had a test dummy wall, but I don't. I mean, I do, but it's also, I think it's at a different scaling anyway, because that was back when I was thinking a 1-inch wall is going to be perfectly fine. And as you can see, that's I might still have it someplace. And I do. And as you can see, I just got a couple small little nails in there. I don't know if I'm going to do the nails or the screws. Shouldn't matter either way, but I guess it just depends on how thick your walls are. But you see, those are spaced the same, and I can dunk. And yeah, it's still going to have some play in it, but your wall goes where your wall goes, and it makes a nice for all your heroes. Hours of fun. All right. So I still have my initial mixture, Mod Podge, mostly black paint that I'm going to go over these. It's probably a mistake, doing it anyway. Just to have a little bit of a cast shadow and extra sealing, and then I'm going to, once that's dry, we'll seal it again. And I'm going to grab the board. I'm going to be looking at the board because I know there's blood stain splatter needs to be here. I'm going to take some of that, some of these spaghetti strands from the poly, because I know that there's skeletons in some of the rooms, so I'm going to make skeleton bones out of that. Move that down. I know there's also supposed to be rocks that have fallen in some of these rooms, so I'm going to take some of the test pieces and cut them up and have little teeny tiny fallen rocks, small enough that the figures can stand on it without being all cattywampus. Salute. All right, let's screw up what looks really nice.
Did I mess it up? Did I make it better? I don't know. The styrene is very prominent. It's very hard to cover that up. I don't think I want to do a second coat. And if I do, I need a smaller brush. I like the spillover, but I'm also wondering if the spillover is actually necessary. It made it a lot fuzzier. Don't know. But this is where we are. Could have left it alone. Did not. This is where we are. Let it dry, see what it does. And the thing is, when I have walls snapped in place, it's gonna look good because the walls are casting shadows. Could have gone lighter? Yes. Did I? No. Could have gone thinner? Yeah, maybe. Again, this is just where we are.